Hey, it's Monster, one half of your dynamic hosting duo of the Nerdy Man Room Show. Proudly bringing you another Man Room Short. Enjoy, and as always, please remember, viewer discretion is advised.
One of the other questions I had, if you're looking at these and you've got dueling companies making them, what's going to be your deciding factor in choosing which one you're going to pick? You going to look, you going the price, or the quality the quality of the brand name? Let me put it that way. Like
What
like
sucks is
Nike's
when
or
you see
Adidas.
one. Yeah, what sucks is when you see one that's got like the best mold. He looks amazing, but the coloring is different. Because
Yes.
like with Astrotrain, I've seen him in various different colors. You see some that go with the cartoon accurate color, some go with the figure accurate color, some
Yeah.
have went with the Marvel Comics color. So you got like three different versions color wise of him out there. And one of them has a better mold than any of them, but he's not the accurate color. So it's like, damn, I want him to be, I want him to look cartoon colored wise scheme. I don't want him
Yes.
in old school Hasbro colors.
The one to me that let's just use Astrotrain for example. The one to me that looks the best is Fans Toys version of him. He looks so cartoon accurate. Man, his price is like $250.
Yeah, I was trying to talk my bride to be into that one not long ago. I said, she said, oh, I like that. I said, yeah, me too, baby. I said, then she seen the price. She said, no, we don't like that. I said,
Because
okay.
DX9 made a much cheaper version, and he looks okay, but he doesn't match the colors. And then actually everybody complains about the way he transforms too. But
if I'm not mistaken,
the
that's the one
engineering
that
is a
has
different
the
discussion.
the white body, correct? White and purple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, he looks okay, but he's just not dead on. So at that point, are you going to say, okay, if you had those two to pick between, which one would you pick, and why?
I got to go with it. It's got to be. I don't price wise aside. I want the mold and the color scheme from the cartoon.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I look at the accuracy first because there's been some like there's another and I can't remember the name of the company that makes it. They dabble more in the closer to the legend scale than they do the masterpiece scale, but they've already made a defense source. Generation Toys actually, I think, but the aesthetic that they gave them looks like it doesn't look cartoon accurate. It looks like a more modern take on what it could possibly be from a vehicle now versus what it looked like from then. And I'm like, much as I wanted a defensor for myself before they started selling the X Transbox or the Ocular Max this last year, and I was like, man, I want a defensor, and he was my favorite combiner, and I got looking, I was like, I just don't like that one. It doesn't look right, and it's a cheaper price too. I could probably got the whole set for $300 versus $100 a piece, but it's just not right.
No.
And I've gotten to the point too, especially like I was talking about the Perceptor. When I look at them and they're that close between Fans Toys and X Transbox, at that point, I'm not going by the brand name or the quality, or the quality by the brand name. I'm not going for Fans Toys just because everybody says they're better, because it's not worth another $100 for me to buy.
I will say that second Perceptor you bought was beautiful.
Yeah, and I will say that I try to make sure I buy from reputable companies when they make them. Like newer ones are harder for me to get into, so I watch some reviews. But like that Perceptor, there's two of the X Transbox or the Fans Toys. I bought the X Transbox, and I know their name, and I don't have too many troubles. But I will say that both shoulders on that one, the first version of them I got when I got them in, both shoulders broke immediately. So I'm waiting on replacement parts to fix them. I went and bought the second one just to go ahead and get them on my shelf because I was disappointed at that point in time. And the second one's fine, transforms perfectly fine, no breakage. Just got one bad quality one, but that turns a lot of people off, and they won't buy that brand anymore just because it broke.
When you drop 100 plus to anywhere from 100 to 140, say, you don't want it tearing up.
No.
And that's where I was so scared with that Masterpiece Starscream, because like the way he has to transform, you have to do some kind of tucking and moving and pulling, and it's like scary as hell because you're like scared that you're gonna pull a damn leg slap off. And like one of the first things I did was pull his head off, and I was like, oh shit. But luckily the heads always snap on pretty easy back. But an arm or a leg, that's a little something different, especially if it snaps at a joint.
Well, I mean, and this is no secret to most fans and stuff that we send stuff back and forth. But when I upgraded my Trailbreaker and bought a new one because I like the sculpt better, The one I had, and when I got it, it broke immediately, but now it broke in a way that I could still transform it and I could still pose it, and you couldn't notice it. If it does that, that doesn't turn me off. Now, if it breaks like that Perceptor did, and I can't even transform it, I'm a little disappointed. I can't deal with that, but it didn't turn me off enough to say I wouldn't buy it anymore because that was a one-off. But like they, I think it's a bad cube that I sent you of Trailbreaker, but when he broke, he was still usable. So I was like, oh well. It sucks because of what I paid for it, but I got him for $70 versus over 100, and I was like, that's a weird spot for that pin, and that pin broke, but he'll still stand, and you won't notice it's broken if you get it posed right.
He resides happily next to my Ultra Magnus in my case right now, actually. So.
Yeah, I mean he's still usable. Some of my Gigapower Dinobots, and they're expensive. They're over 200 a piece, but there's one of them that transforms perfectly fine. But the thin pin that holds this sludge that holds his underbelly in place, every time you go to transform him, that pin actually broke, and you can't really get it out to replace it. So that piece falls off when you transform. But in both positions, it holds in place perfectly fine. You don't have to worry about it not being there on either one or just falling off randomly. It only falls off when you start transforming because the pin's long enough to still slide it back in. It just slides out when you're maneuvering them around.
So that doesn't deter you at all when this sort of thing happens?
Not unless it breaks irrevocably, right? If I can't repair it at all and it's just not usable, then yes. But like with that sludge, like I said, the pin is just this long, so it slides in and holds in place. But as soon as if you turn him sideways to transform, it's going to slide out, and you have to maneuver them to do that.
Speaking of the Dinobots, how painful is it to know that the best looking version of Swoop is way out of scale with the others? Because the best looking one I've seen by far, he is almost damn near the same size as Grimlock. And it's like, are you shitting me?
I can get the camera on him. He's right behind me.
I think you have him, actually. Because he is like big when he's transforming. It's like, he is not supposed to be that big.
He is standing on a shelf
right over here.
Can you see him? I can.
Yeah, I can see vaguely there.
He is standing on a shelf with Snarl, and he is just as tall and just as big as Snarl is.
Exactly.
Right here.
That's my point in case. He's a small figure, and while he's a Dinobot, but the figure looks amazing, and he's the best looking one of all of them I've seen.
And here's
version wise of him.
And to prove this point, if you can see them, I know it might be hard, but he's got a bigger. He's this side because I'm having to do this from the opposite direction because of the camera, but he's got a bigger wingspan, so he's wider, and he's also taller because of his headpiece. Now he shouldn't be as tall as he is anyway, but he is a Gigapower, and the Snarl standing next to him over here is the Fans Toys Dinobot that I have, and you can't tell that they're from two different companies standing next to each other.
No, it wasn't for the scale. That's by far the best looking version of Swoop I've seen.
Yeah, and I have the others on the shelves below them from those same ones, and that scale is obviously wrong, right? But other than that scale, you can't tell the difference in that whole Dinobots team coming from different manufacturers.
No, they look amazing. They're really great looking figures.
Yeah, and I got to admit it. And so the sludge, like I said, the little underbelly piece falls out when you try to move him, and on the and Swoop, where his talons are at, one of the talons on his knees looks out of place because it's like the paint chipped on it a little bit. But I mean, like, I can't argue with it. I mean, it looks amazing no matter what. So the little stuff like that bothers a lot of collectors does not bother me as long as it's still functionable. Like the Perceptor I had, the shoulders fell apart. Ain't nothing I can do with him until I get replacements. So that kind of sucks. But